I'm going to use a clip for her hair because it's so straight that I don't think it's going to stay out of my way unless I clip it. But a lot of times, now you guys should use clips, but after a while when you get in the salon, the ears are like the best clips. Okay, so let's take a look at her back. Okay, so, you know, each kind of haircut sort of tells you what it can and can't do. So, yes, we're going to cut that back short, but she's got some very serious growth directions back there, cowlicks and so forth. We're going to separate this head right now, and we're going to deal with it in 3 different planes. The head can be broken down into 3 planes, and when you take each plane, watch out, when you take each plane and you attack it individually, it makes the haircut so much easier. So rather than taking a whole head, take the planes of the head and work on them and move through them. So here's the plane. The plane is flat. There's a flat plane. If you look on, like, see my head? See the comb? See how the comb stays on my head? All the way to, what, here? And then it goes away, right? Really what's happening is my head's turning away from the comb, right? The comb's not turning away from the head. So that's everything underneath this, boom, and here too. Everything underneath this. So this whole plane right here is called the flat plane. Okay? So when you're working on your 1-length precision cutting, this head shape is so important to break it down into these planes. So basically what it really means is nothing more simple than whenever you're cutting this hair that's on the flat plane, it should always be pushed flat against the head. Don't pick it up. Okay? Don't pick it up. Don't cut it in your fingers. Because when you're cutting it in your fingers, there's elevation on it. And what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of like junky. Have you guys ever done a haircut and then you go back and it looks like that? Okay, that's because that's the stuff that you're creating as you go. So what I'm going to do with this, so if this was being cut with a scissor, it'd be the same kind of thing. So I'm going to come here, and then she's got these very radical cowlicks, see them? If I cut into those, we got problems. I'm going to cut the corner out, but I'm not going to cut it into the rest. So I'm going to come down here like this. I'm going to make a subsection of this. Come up here like that. I'm going to push this down onto the head. There's my first cut. Okay.
You slither
The cut, yeah, it's going to sort of going down like this, but you can see, and it tucks right into that growth direction. See? Okay.
Can you rotate it this way?
All right. So then I'll let go of this, the rest of the flat plane. I'll come down here like this, and then I'm going to take my razor. This is a great razor because of the way that you hold it. So a lot of razors, you hold them like almost like sticks, but this razor you can put your hand in it, see, and you can turn it, and so it has a lot of versatility. So this is going to come down. It's going to get cut. Does that hurt?
Mm-mm.
It's going to get cut on the skin. Okay. Then we're going to come over here. We're going to take a subsection of this here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to cup it in here.
I did.
I'm just going to cut. Is that okay? I'll mention things that are important to note, but I'm just going to cut. Okay, so there's the foundation for my cut. Take down another panel. See, first panel, second panel. I'm going to grab this. No, actually, I'm not. I'm going to free cut this. So, see that? See that, you guys? See where that angle's? You can see it, right?
Yep.
Okay, now I could cut it like this, right? But that's going to give me more of like a soccer mom kind of bob. I want this to be a little funkier. So that means we need to free cut it. So it's going to be like this. We're going to come out here and we're going to chop into it. Isn't that cool? The reason you do it in your hands is because if you tried to do, outside of your hands, if you try to do it in your hands, you cut your hands. So here it is. And then this, back down, and on the skin. Nick, why am I cutting that on the skin as opposed to that? So when you hit the part of the head that's not flat, you elevate. Okay? So note that. When you go into the part of the head that's not flat, it's called the roll. When you go into the roll plane, that's when you start your elevation. Yes.
Does that style of cutting assist if someone has like really thick hair that shows every little cut?
It's good to do. If you want to get it notchy. If you don't, then there's ways that you can cut it with the texture shear. I'll show you a texture shear on how you get rid of those notches. Okay? All right. See what's happening here? Now look, now we've turned the whole weight of this haircut totally in a different direction. Remember, the weight was all back here. Now look, it's starting to move here, correct? See how the weight's coming here now? Okay, so that's what haircutting is. Haircutting, you guys, is nothing more than sculpting. You're taking away from one area to create more in another area. All right, so here we go. Freestyle. This is probably the hardest way to cut that you'll ever do because it's so hard to hold but precise. See? Look. If there's any girls that think Stevie's cute, he's single. He's very selfish. He's very selfish, like all good-looking guys. You know what I mean?
I find him very down to earth.
He is very down. He's a very good, he's an amazing kid.
You just exaggerate.
He's a great guy. Wherever he works, whenever he has a job, wherever he works, he always makes Employee of the Year. That's how good, you know what I mean? That's how good a guy is. Okay, so here we go. You see it starting to form, right? All right, so there's a million ways we could cut this. I could pick this up, right, and blend it, right?
Yes.
I could point cut it, right, and blend it. I could do this. I could pick it up and blend it this way, right? But I'm gonna do something different for you guys. I'm gonna sculpt this in using a razor, totally freestyle. And This is fun. Cool? Okay, so this is where we're going to take your hair cutting to. And all it starts with is confidence, just the confidence to try. That's literally like sculpting with like a hammer and a chisel, see it? So that's true sculpting. You're working into the hair, not even on sections, you're just working into it. Okay? Now let's do it this way. See what we got. What am I doing with the razor right now, Nick? What kind of technique am I using?
Channeling.
Channeling? That's right. So I'm channeling with the razor, creating movement into the center. But I'm staying with the head shape. Look, in here I'm off the head, see? I'm off the head. In here though, where am I? I'm on the skin, correct? Why? Because that's where it's flat. Exactly. So when you start knowing all the head shapes and what they do and why they do it, then you can go completely freestyle. Because you know all over the head, you know why you're doing it. Cool?
Oh, yeah.
So now we're going to go. What do you like to call it? So now we're going to go. Do we put any hair product in here?
Just the soothing thing you gave us.
Okay. She's got real straight hair, so it shows every mark. That's okay. You know what? We'll use that. We'll show the marks. See? Show them. Okay, so now we got the curve of the head. You can see right where this line needs to drop in. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We want to maintain that, don't we?
Yeah.
But we got to marry that and this.
Right.
Right? Okay. So here's how we're going to do it. So we're going to come in. Boom. We're going to turn her head. There you go. And we're just going to use a technique. We don't want to overcut this. So a lot of times, I and other hairdressers would try to connect this by doing this. Follow me?
Mm-hmm.
The only problem with that is once again, it's not going to have that funkiness that you want. So the way that we're going to create the funkiness is we're going to go in with this other technique, which is going to guarantee a long front and some chops and some textures. It's called stair stepping. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to come behind my hand, look, and I'm going to take little 45s and I'm going to stair step it down, see? Cool? We'll do that again. Now we're going to start getting really a little more advanced right now. So we're going to take this back and we're going to turn this. We're going to bend this line. We're going to take it back to here. And here's why. So if I take this away and cut it back, what's it going to do when I release it, Nick?
It's going to fall way
It's going to fall. Go ahead.
longer.
Exactly. Why? Because it's going to come back to where I cut it from, right? So if I take this back here and cut it, it's going to move there after I release it. Okay. So we want to come in. This is going to come here. Now I'm over directing. Now I'm creating some movement. And I'm going to cut from the top of the line here okay. Wait, right? The whole haircut has just changed now because it was heavy in the back. It wasn't cut wrong. It just wasn't into this cut. It was more of an even cut. So we want to take this and move it like that. So now we've got all this up and this down. Okay? All right, so let's come in here. And you can see that every little section that we take down now is not reaching, right? So that's good. And with hair cutting, you guys, what you do is every time you take a section down, you only cut what reaches. You don't go in there and make like a new guideline. If it reaches to your guideline and goes over your guideline, then you cut it. If it doesn't reach to the guideline, don't worry, you don't cut anything. Okay? All right, you go this way, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go over here now. All right, so on this cut, I'd like to sort of shoot this haircut a little longer over here and a little shorter over here. Give it some nice movement, a little asymmetrical thing going on. And because asymmetricals are, I love to use asymmetricals because they are very flattering. People look amazing with their hair at different lengths. Because once again, it goes back to that same theory. When everything's too rigid, then all the imperfections in the face come out. When it's all moving and it's got different lengths, it all just softens everything. Okay, here we go. So this is going to travel back. See it, guys? I'm going to do this. Look, I'm going to hold this really low and taut. Peel this off like you're peeling like a potato. See it? But hold it down taut. If I hold it down taut and do this, it's going to cut the top layer off. What's it going to do next? It's going to flip up. See?
812.
So on this cut, like you can see from side to side, I'm actually using a couple different techniques, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not even like cutting the sides the same, but they are coming out the same. So it's all about, like I don't want you guys to get so rigid in your hair cutting. To think like, oh, I cut it that way on that side. I have to exactly duplicate the exact movements that I did on the other side. It doesn't have to be that rigid. You can do different techniques to actually achieve the same thing, believe it or not. And not only that, it makes doing hair so much more fun. Because I'm doing this, okay, the guy next to me, he's cutting hair like this all day. He hates life. This sucks. Why did I ever go into this? And I'm over here shredding. I'm looking at him going, this shit is fun. In other words, don't take yourself so seriously. Don't take what you're doing so seriously. Be creative. Be an artist. Open it up. Try different things. Try different techniques. Have fun with it. Have your own style. Have your own way of doing it. Have your own flair, you know? So that's how you create a brand. Nobody wants to see like some person cutting so like boring over in the corner. And you know, that's not going to get you noticed. What gets you noticed is doing stuff different, doing it with a certain twist on it. It's not a gimmick, because I can cut any haircut in the world. I can cut any precision in the world that I want to. But this is the way I like to do hair when I'm in a flow. If I have to cut, you know, like a perfect haircut, of course I can do it. Do I like to? Not really. I don't really like to, because I'm not trying to, because you can't get perfection. You'll never get a perfect haircut. What you get though is you create like awesome looks and shapes and movements and balance. Balance. That's something I wish somebody would have told me when I was in school, that you know, that I could lighten up and be creative. You know, I was always trying to do like these perfect haircuts, and if one hair was out of whack, I'd be like, oh, devastated. How's that coming out?
Good.
You guys liking the shape? See, it's all about the shape, see? It's all about the shape. Okay, so we got a little more length over here on her side away from the part. You guys, you always want to put the length on the side away from the part. So, in other words, she's parting her hair on this side. So, what flows to the eye is that this side would be the longer side, not this side. That would be lopsided. Okay, so the weight travels there. Hi. Okay, so now leave it just like this. It'd be cool. You know, with a long bang. That would be hip. Do you want to do that, or you want?
Yeah, because I don't want bang anymore.
You don't want bang anymore.
No, I've had bang.
All right, so let's keep it like this. We're going to do that, and then we're going to come in now. Yeah, that would be cool, because everybody's got their bangs cut now. So we'll just leave it. Yeah, but what I'm going to do though is it's a little. It just needs to be a little graduated right there. So I'm going to take it over here, and this will create a little more movement for you. So I'm not going to cut so much. This is really a good point. Okay. And this applies even like when you're literally cutting men's hair and it's this long from the head. Okay? So try to grab this in your brain. This is really something that will change a lot of the way you look at hair. Okay. So we want her hair to we want it long, but we want it to move over here. You know what I'm saying? We want a long, kind of sweeping bang, but not like overly short, not even really short at all. So I'm going to share something with you. Watch this. So if I take this and I go over here, do you see how her hair is longer here than here? Mm-hmm. I have to reverse that. All I have to do is slightly reverse it, and the hair will move right to where I want it to move. So I'm going to come here. Here's her hair here. See it? I'm going to make this. I'm going to go shorter here, just like this. Watch. So virtually what I'm doing is I'm cutting that corner off. Leaving it long, but cutting that corner off. And now everything follows it. Here it is. Look, here's the corner. Cutting that corner off. It's going to come again and follow over. There's the guide. You can see it. here's her hair here. So now we have to cut this very point out. So we're not going to cut this out. That's her length. We're going to cut right from there. Here's her length to here. Here's where I cut the. So we're going to cut this. This is what we're cutting. I'm not cutting a bang, but I just want to prove a point to you on how important angles are for what they do for the movement of the hair. So I'm taking the hair away from where it's going to fall, and I'm cutting into it. Just kind of touching that up a little bit, just kind of getting it right. Just little bits. And this comes over here. Watch the direction of the hair, how it's flowing. Coming over. So when I take hair over here and I cut it, I want to show you what it does when I release it. And this hopefully will make a big impression in your mind. So there it is. Now I'm going to take it, I'm going to release it back. See the difference? Okay, see how the movement is just now it's there? Before it was there, but you'd have to style it there. You'd have to bend it with an iron or something. Now it flows there from the cut. Okay, so once again, what does that mean? When you take hair away from its base and cut it, it will go back to where it came from with movement. Okay? So that all comes in now. So now that's all done. All right? And then, of course, now we'll marry this side. But that's going to be just bits. Matter of fact, look, just hardly anything. And then from here, what we'll do is we'll just slightly lighten up the top so that we get some lift and some blend. So we're going to take it all up. There it is. So now I'm cutting into the ends, and when I cut into the ends like this, it will soften the end. We'll work around the head. Like this is the center of a pinwheel, or the center of a wheel. And every one of these partings is like a spoke now of a wheel. So now I'm going to come here. This is all going to come up. Boom, there it is. I'm going to go from the center of the hub now, another spoke of the wheel, and now everything's straight up. And then you'll just come out, boom, it will be right there. There it is, see? Back to the center of the wheel, another spoke. There it is. Just that little bit's going to soften everything so dramatically. The ends. So you won't see any lines. It'll just have an amazing blend. Try it again. Let's keep going all the way around. Now we're going to come here. Here's the middle of the wheel. Another spoke. So spoke, 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 all the way around the wheel. In theory, this is shorter than the other side, so not much is going to come out. it is. See, not much. When you're doing this kind of cutting, it's good to have a little bit of a smaller scissor and dull. Because when you're cutting down towards your fingers, you don't want it real short. You know, you want to have a good scissor, but not something that's going to like take your finger off. Let's get some height in here. Now just come around and detail. We can even channel this a little bit in here just to give it just a little bit more movement. So we'll just come through and channel. Let's blow it out.